Hello, humans of the internet. Welcome to Azurhia Under the Hood. We are having a Thursday morning today. I'm going to just change this track because I need one that doesn't have words in it. As we discovered last time, when there are words in the tracks, I get distracted by the lyrics and forget what I'm trying to do. So we're building a game system. That's what we're doing. Last time we were working on skill trees. We will probably go back to that today, but I wanted to spend some time on this kind of front page, essentially what's going to be the character sheet, and just try and make it a little more logical and also pretty because I am still Jax. So that's what we're going to work on for a little bit, just so that I can get my head around it a bit. So what I want to do is we will start with some styling. I see what I've done. Okay. As we discovered last time, styling in Excel is not as easy as styling in Word, but that's fine. With that one. Oh, I suppose I can just do this though. Format. Make it not so shouty. Do we want to get a bit woo-woo with the font because woo-woo is fun? I like that font. I've always liked that font, but I feel like I want something a bit more, you know, hi, you're in a fantasy game. And it's scary. And it's unreadable. That's not what I wanted. I always really like the like super scripty ones, but can you even hear the music? Get a bit louder. But I also always think they're virtually unreadable. So we need to find one that is pretty, but I have one. Is it in here? There's one I used to use for all Azurhia things, and I'm sure it was an A1, but pretty. It's not really what I'm after though. But it may be one of my Adobe fonts. I have a lot more fonts than Adobe. Anyone? Hey, that's one. That's the one. That's the one I was using. Alignment. I feel like I also want it to be if this works. Right, so now oh, that's way too big. Way too big. Let us make you not so big.
No, I'm not afraid of being dead, that's to say. Nothing to be afraid of, I won't know I'm dead.
I guess that's still... Why is it... Did I tell it to do that? I might have, I suppose. Possible... By that, I mean the floaty. Ah, but I think it's because it's... Right, it's...
That'll be a pleasant surprise. I quite like surprises. But I strongly take leave to doubt it.
Look, look! Veritas, stop putting words in your things. Not wingdings. 90s sneaky, I guess, is what's happening there. That's hilarious. Wingdings. Remember wingdings? How great. Okay, we're gonna just merge that. Maybe we just need to do this. Merge that. Gonna knock you over there. Bob the Sneaky can come back here. Why didn't you underline it like I told you to? Oh my god. It still seems like it's floating. Is it because of that? Why? Why are you not doing as you're told? Oh, okay. Okay. Maybe I don't want the line. I get very caught up with formatting frequently. It's a thing. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. Like, I very clearly told it to put it on the bottom. It's weird. I don't understand why you are being dumb, Excel. Like it says bottom, but it's clearly not on the bottom. Very strange. Anyway, we are going to the borders live. Bottom. Okay. No, bruh. Oh, is it? turn the merge off? No. Bro. Yes, I just broed Excel. That is a thing that just happened. I don't know. I don't know why. What are you doing? Okay, what if I do that? And I write a line. And I bottom a line. It's so strange because it brings it down when I say top a line. Is it backwards? Are you confused? What is happening? Oh no. Anyway, that's fine. We're going to then go copy that, put it here. You are taking me back to my university computer lab days. Wingdings? Or Excel? Do you not use Excel in your everyday life these days? In these days in which we live. Okay. I'm going to just take these out for now. So actually you... Yeah. There. Thank you. But like it's also... It's... Maybe it's because it's too big. Maybe I can't handle that much oomph. Maybe it just doesn't like that font. What happens if we use a different font? Then does it do as it's told? No, still not. Weird. I don't know. I don't know why it's doing that. Doesn't really matter a great deal just at present. Because we're gonna do some shenanigans. Fighting Excel to make it do what I want. Yeah, I use Excel constantly though, so although sometimes it is obnoxious and I have to fight with it, I actually am very comfortable with it. And I frequently find doing something like this where you're going to have like things in different tables and stuff, it's easier to set up the formatting of that in Excel than it is in like a Word table. Word tables are shit to deal with. This is a player name. Okay. That's kind of a good starting place. Okay. So we're gonna just... You know what? I'm gonna just insert a whole bunch here so that I can use this for reference, but actually I don't do it. Think. Yeah, nah. And it just so I can use it as reference, but while not. Okay, so then we're going to need hit points, for which I am going to use this genus. I actually made a character sheet. I started building one in Canva at one point. To go look at that. I suspect that now you're going to see my thousands. Actually, I'm just going to move this for a sec. The reason I'm moving it is because I use it for work, which means there are pictures of our kids, that like the kids at work, and I clearly don't want to stream that. So I'm going to just find the actual project and then come back to this, and then I'll bring it back. So Azurhia. Right, so this is what I was working on. And it's actually probably still pretty close to what we were gonna do. Having a look at what I did. Yeah, I think it's pretty similar. I don't actually think I've changed that much in my dealings over time. So what I might do is basically use this as a base to build it in Excel. The reason I want to build it in Excel is because then we can we can like set up automatic you know, formulas and stuff for all the you know, different the things that happen that change stuff. Just need you as a reference. I'm going to just do like a 2/3 job here. Okay. So what I might actually do is just start from scratch. Oh my god. Clear formatting, is that an option? God damn it. Sure there's a way to clear formatting. Excel is better as a form. Yeah, exactly. And it allows us to I can get rid of that. It allows us to boom. Yeah, set up all those formulas so that like if you have a particular skill or whatever, it can um, work out the maths for you, basically. Is what I'm going for. 5. Probably, there is a good chance that eventually I'm going to need something more complex than an Excel spreadsheet to do that, but for the sake of working it out, I think this is the way to go. Okay, so one character name. So what I'm going to do is pull this over. Okay, wait. I want to be able to pop the styles out. That's a thing you can do in Word, which I would like to see in Excel. Hey, Microsoft, can you make it so you can pop the styles out on Excel too? Because that would be helpful. I'm going to just align this left. Okay. Because then what we can do is just make linies. Okay. And then here we're going to go. Oh, no, that's not what I meant to do. There we go. Copy this whole thing, pop it there, change this to player. That one. Boom. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to stick with this font, but I'm going to just roll with it for now. Right, and then go ancestry. We will go class. Go. So I've been having a thought about levels. I'm going to leave it there for now. But I was wondering about just not literally just making it that you just gain skills and as you go along. And it's not a leveled thing. I haven't convinced myself of that yet though. It was a thought I had the other day and I was like, I wonder if that would work. But I don't actually know that it would. So we shall see. Okay. It's still bouncing up. I don't know why it's doing that. It's really weird. Okay. So that's kind of where we're at. Okay. And then we have wonder if it still just thinks it's too. You know what? I'm not going to stress about it. Not going to stress about it. Don't stress about it, Jax. I am going to stress about it though because formatting matters. I wonder if it's because the font is too tall. The thing I'm thinking. Anyway, okay, so I am going to. Bro. Okay, then we have. So. Go with this for now. Oh, you're dumb. Also, folks, you really shouldn't. Oh, yes. See, this is where before I had done the reason and intellect and instinct thing. So reason, instinct, charisma. Like it's interesting because it's actually nudging the entire row, which is super weird. But anyway, wait. Told. There we go. Okay. And then we have these learning points, and this is where it gets interesting because the idea behind the learning points, and I don't even remember if I've explained this yet, is that you have to, that you get a certain, you have, when you level up, you have a certain number of points you can spend, but you have to have them in reserve. So, like, you have to have done something essentially in the game to have earned the right to learn the thing is pretty much where I'm going with this. So I actually think we're going to need some more steps here. Oh, no, it's good. Oh, no, we're good. It didn't do what I was worried it was going to do. Because I'm going to need blocks. And this is the whole reason I started working with blocks, because it allows me to do shenanigans. So we are going to just make that smaller. Feels like it's humongous for something that's supposedly 8-point. Wild. Maybe it's because it's a heading. Yeah, that's why it's having a hissy fit. No, it really just is. The font is humongous. Okay, that's fine. Maybe we just lean into it then and make everything bigger. Okay, so what I am going to want to do is essentially double this all up. So we're going to just move that over. Going to, and my brain is struggling to figure out how to do this. Okay, we want to take these guys. Essentially double them. Gonna mean we also need to, okay, this is where styling comes in handy. I'm just gonna go back a bit. Gracias. Right, we are going to just faff about with styling a bit more. This one. So I am actually going to make the main style bigger. Which is going to, I realize, blow everything out, but that's fine because then we are going to go. Insert. No, we're not. We're going to go. That. We are going to merge that. Seriously? Merge. There we go. We are going to put a bunch more space here. Going to copy that across. We are going to add a row in here. No. I want you to add a row the same size as this one. Really? What if I do this? Ha! Ha ha ha! Okay. Oh, that's why it's not doing what... Because you're telling it to do the wrong thing, you doof. Okay, we're going to move these guys down a notch. We're going to copy it across to here. Second verse, same as the first. Technically third verse. Same as the second, but you know. Merge cells. Pull that down. Copy that across. Oh. Watching me play in Excel might teach people Excel tricks. That was not the intent originally of this this stream, but you may still get some Excel tricks because I am an Excel tricks girl. I have a lot of Excel tricks. The trick is going to be getting the I don't really think we need that much space for level, but oh well. Is getting the like ratios of the pages right, but that's fine. We can worry about that later. Okay. Now, part of the reason why I've made it so much bigger is so that I can get more granular with my little bits and pieces here. So let us just get rid of all of these for a hot second. Come back to them. Okay. Right. So what I actually want to do is make a heading 2, which is going to be similar to heading 1. Called and I want to say Anowin, but that's not right because that is actually a character in our games, and the alignment for this, yes, will be all the centers. Okay, and then we're going to do center bar 1. I am going to make it is going to be HP. Bro. Oh my god, seriously? Do as you're told. Why? Grr. Oh, it does say it is. But it doesn't look like it. At all. Strange. It's behaving in weird ways, right? Like I'm not being dumb. Oh no, it is. It's just, maybe it's just because it's small. Can't handle it. Okay, that's fine. We are going to take those borders out. None for now, because what I actually want is for the box to be here. So this is going to be that. and then we will essentially copy that for AC. Cool. Okay. Then here we will have T's. And you are going to say expertise. Maybe you're going to be having one. Yep. Cool bananas. Right. Okay, and then we're going to, I'm not going to actually say base stats, we all know what that means. But essentially it is going to look exactly like this. Going to go there. We're going to skip 3. Skip 3. Dex. This will be strength. This will be on. This will be this will be AC because that was AC before, you numpty. This will be reason. This will be instinct. And this will be charisma. These we're going to make smaller because they're just going to be basically buffer things. And then here we're going to need a third style, which is going to be same font, however it will be littler. Anyone. Oh, that's it, Angisana, which is Zulu for something. I don't remember what though. Crap, I don't remember what we made too. Okay. 14. Okay, cool, that's fine. So these will be learning points. And then we will need blockies for learning points. So 1. Gonna have enough. Suppose we could do it as actually just do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. Yeah, that works. For now, anyway. Oh, I forgot to make those smaller. That's all good. Cool. So the idea is when you level up, you get a certain number of learning points that you can use for these purposes, but you have to have collected them over the course of the game. So for example, if you've done several things in the game that involved dexterity, and as a reminder, I guess, of the thing I spoke about a couple of weeks ago now, I think. I was talking about how I really want a game where you can learn from failure, because my feeling is that in real life, that's what you do. You learn from failure. So the idea would be that if you try to do something and fail catastrophically, you can use that as a catalyst for learning to do that thing better. So for example, if you did you tried to jump across a ravine and you failed dismally and fell down the ravine and your party had to spend half an hour pulling you out, you could use that as a catalyst for practicing your long jump, I guess, which would then become a dex, and then you would potentially get a learning point in dex. What that means is it sits there in reserve, and when you get to your leveling, you would get a certain number of learning points that you can then actually spend, but you have to have them to spend. So at that point, you could go, okay, I'm going to take this learning point I got in dex, and I'm going to increase my dexterity. So things don't just magically happen. You've got to actually pursue improvement. Because I really want growth to be an active experience instead of just a thing that happens, if that makes sense. All right, so expertise. We will need.
The most astounding fact is the knowledge that the atoms that comprise life on Earth.
Trying to decide how to do this. I think what we're going to do is we're going to have
That make up the human body
that.
are traceable to the crucibles that cook
Have
light elements.
that, but it's not going to say anything. I'm going to pull it across here and merge that. So this is now a fillable field essentially. And then underneath here we will have, maybe we put it above actually. We put it above. No, we'll put it underneath because we've done it with the learning points. We put it underneath. Sorry, you're watching my thought process happen as it happens. I'm changing my mind. I'm changing my mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have
Fundamental ingredients of life.
so we're going to have sorry while I think it makes sense to have the modifier first because that's what people are going to look at.
So that when I look up at you, and I know that yes, we
Then
are part of this universe.
this, and then we're going to do maybe the
Perhaps more important than both of those facts is that the universe is in us.
what did we decide last time we were going to do? Trained. Crap. Oh wait, I didn't delete it. I moved it. No, I did delete it. Trained, expert, master, specialist, legendary. I think that's what we decided.
Many people feel small because they're small and the universe is big. But
Just copy that and do that. And then we will remove that. We will add across one. So when we get to actually doing the formulas for this, these will be binary, so they'll be yes or no, and they will add something to this. So as you go along those processes, you will actually improve your modifier for whatever this is. But these are also going to have the learning point system attached to them. So it'll look something like that. Then there will just be a bunch of these, basically. However many makes sense. Right. Something along those lines. Now, so the idea would be that your HP will be based on your ancestry and your class hit dice. So you get a hit die for your ancestry and a hit die for your class at each level. Your initial HP is, the max of those two things. Probably just copy this, So all of these will end up with formulas in them based on cool. Something along those lines. And then this is going to be relatively straightforward. Guess we'll just push that a bit further out. Series of those. Which are just going to be, you know, your fillable fields, basically. My plan is ultimately to have, what I would love to do, if Lionel ever watches this, although Adam can probably do it actually, and he keeps talking about how he needs to learn to code. Well, he knows how to code, how he needs to practice his coding, because the work he does doesn't practice it as much as it ought to. Let's just drop that in there. Up nicely. Is to set up a actual like system that tracks all of this stuff. But I also, because I'm me, want to make little cards and shit, which I started working on. I don't know if I put them at the bottom of this. Yeah, I started working on just cards that you could then basically drop in. But this was designed as obviously as like a paper thing, but still, I think it would be fun to just, you know, have these things. So that's all going to just be one big blonk, and there'll be a few of those. They don't line up. That's annoying. That's annoying. Okay, I can fix it. Not like that, you can't. Fine. Let's just go back a bit. No, you're not going to let me go back further than that? Oh, yep, you are. Cool. Excellent. Okay, so let's just do this thing that way. I know what I'm dealing with. Because what I want is for them to line up in the end. What is the point of having this square-based system if you can't make things line up in a pretty fashion? Welcome to just watching Jack's format shit. Okay. Then I can do those. Then why didn't you put the formatting in, you numpty? Start heading 1. This is weapons and attacks. No, attacks. Because then our weapons and attacks can line up with our expertise in a nice little way. And then I can do this. Down so that we have a few more. Oh wait, nope, that didn't work. We've got to include the ickle line to make that work. Right. And then we go copy, paste, paste. Cool beans. Right. So I guess I'll leave that like that because this is Excel. We can just add more if we need it. So that's nice. And then we will conditions. So when I did this originally, I pulled out the conditions I thought that would, basically the conditions I liked from Pathfinder. One of the things I really like about Pathfinder is the incremental conditions. So you can be, like, we will be keeping the way dying works in Pathfinder because I think it's dope, and it doesn't make any sense to me that you could be on death's door, someone gives you a potion, and you're suddenly sweet and fine. So I like the incremental nature of that. So I want to keep that part. hero points, you will start the campaign with 1 hero point, which is your ace in the hole, as it were. After that point, you will need to gather them by doing cool shit, basically. So I'm actually going to put the hero points up here, because that makes more sense. Yeah, and then it's essentially DM inspiration is what hero points becomes. No, don't do that. Nudge that along. And there will be no limit to how many you can have, but you will have to earn every single one. Because nothing is free, it turns out, when Jack's plan's a thing. Okay, so we will pop that in there, conditions, and then this is conditions. Oh, we actually don't need to do it that much. We'll just do conditions. We will make that a heading 1. Okay, and then we have our conditions. So conditions are going to work. I think what I'll do is just a straightforward list here. We will make this heading 2. The longest one we have. I'm not doing off guard. I changed my mind about that. I reserve the right to change my mind about things. Okay. Feed the feral cats. Of course you feed feral cats. Why am I even... I'm not surprised is the short answer. I'm going to do a couple extra dying blocks because there are things that let you take longer to die. And I think that is reasonable. And then we're going to basically just copy this. We will copy that first. Pop that in there. Right. I feel like this is not... Do we want to give it? No, we don't. We don't want to do that. Make this wounded. Oh, see, this is why I wanted to. Okay. Gonna do that. We're gonna make this that long. This is where I found out I didn't actually make it even. Oh no, I did make it even. Look at me go. What a clever sausage I am sometimes. Not that much zoomy. Where's my zoom? It's probably in view, eh? Be able to see the whole thing. Is that so much to ask? I just need it slightly more than that. Okay, 55 was, let's go with 60. There we go. That might be okay. That'll do. That will do. Right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's a stupid number. That doesn't divide well. Call it 18, 9, right? 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, No. Okay, he's all good. I wish it also copied this part. I know there are ways you can do that, but... Will there be feeds that add the number of boxes? Yes, sorry, you missed that while you were feeding the cats. That's why dying has 5, when usually it would only be 3. For that exact reason, that there are things that you get that will allow you to essentially expand your range so that it's not so easy to kill you. Clumsy. And the other thing I will be doing is making these really... In fact, I may even add a section underneath each one that explains what it means, because the worst thing is that makes you X, and you're like, cool, what does that mean? And we don't know, because you've got to look up 43 things in Pathfinder to find the answer to that. I do like doomed. It amuses me. Second, drained. Code. I may tweak what is actually on this list. I think I just dumped a whole bunch of things that I thought made sense, but I also was only using the Pathfinder ones, and I might go back to D&D and just see if there's anything in D&D that is not here that I think should be. So you can't really have stages of blinded, which is... Seriously? Is that just how it is? Yes, it is. But... invisible, like you are or you aren't. Deafened. Gonna leave off guard there for now, although I am not convinced by it. Frightened. I think you can have stages of frightened. Maybe not prone though. Yeah, I like it. I think that it makes sense that certain kinds of characters would, you know, be a bit more resilient for various reasons. So Matt, you've played these games for a very long time. Is there anything that's not on this list that you think should be? Dazed. Oh yeah. Yeah, that might work better. Like, I get what they're saying. It's essentially disadvantage, because I will probably go back to the advantage disadvantage. I think I've said that before. System, just because it's really expedient. It just makes it easier. I think there are certain things where having the levels make sense. So where, like, you know, having a plus like a bonus or debuff that is numbered makes sense. But for a lot of things, just doing the advantage disadvantage thing, especially when you're playing, especially during combat, where you want it to be straightforward and not super complex, I think that makes more sense. So some of these don't make sense to have multiple levels. Like, I don't think prone can have multiple levels. That doesn't make sense. Dazed, I will buy. Invisible, I feel like you either are or... Although, see, again, I can see how a lot of these things could be... Maybe I'll leave the levels for now. We'll come back to it. Oh, dazed. Charmed. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I also just want it to be symmetrical. So we have to get them in phases of 2. I mean, we can obviously tweak this as we go, but I think that kind of makes sense, because like poison would fall under sickened. Yeah, but it also allows you to it like different charm spells then can have, you know, when you have different levels of charm spell, there's a difference between like suggestion, where someone is just sort of inclined to do what you say, and like a full-on hypnosis effect where they're gonna and they have no control over it. And I feel like having levels of that, there is a certain logic to that, because, you know, what a very charismatic level 2 bard can do is different to what a uber 300, you know, whatever, 3,000-year-old uber vampire can do. Like, there should be differences between those things, I think. It's also it very, very, very tweakable. And it also allows for using heightened, like using, like upcasting things to increase that level. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Someone might be able to talk you down without ending the effect. That, yeah, totally. So you could have, yeah, move your way up and down that. I like spectrums. Is what it comes down to. I like the nuance that gives you. It appeals to me a lot. Okay, and then skills and feats obviously covers a lot of ground. A lot of ground. So we will just do this. We'll dump that there. It's across the whole thing. And I want you to be centered. But we will. Oh, we'll just leave it there for now. Skills and feats basically covers all the specialist things that you're. Exactly. Nuance is good story. It just makes things more interesting. And I mean, I'm not a very binary person in any sense. So, yeah. I like having the room for just being, yeah, nuanced. It just makes things more interesting as far as I'm concerned. Okay, did I have anything else? Oh, yeah, spells. Okay, so we'll do a bunch of skills and feats. I'll give them a few for now.
Connor's been stealing from you for years. He's kept accounts open under the names of dead men.
Oh, that's not what I want. Okay, stop. I need to actually go in and make a playlist of the stuff for streams at some point. At some point, I will probably do that. Okay, we don't actually want all of that. We just want this so that it repeats. Copy. Paste. What? Paste. There we go. Paste. Yeah, that'll do for now. Because again, we can add more as we go. Spells, inventory. Okay, I might not actually worry about that stuff for now. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. But I just wanted to make this a little bit more pretty to look at, basically, is what it comes down to. Why do these have little dots? Is that leftover from my previous thing? Oh yeah, check it out, it is too. Take that out for now. Gracias. Okay. Because hopefully what this will do is allow us to start to actually build, just make things a bit more readable. Alright, so notes for later. Advantage is coming back. Okay. So. Oh yeah. I do prefer the grey. That's why I put it there, because I was like, ow, that makes my eyes sad. It makes my eyes sad. Alright, so. Go back to this. I think we had got as far as. Oh, there's so much stuff here. That's right, we decided we were going to need a page for every. a page per class, I think. So what I might actually do is just. Oh, duplicate this for now. Copy. Copy. Edit that for now, and we'll just take the rogue out of this. And then as we go along, we can build them in, because that way I can get rid of all of this. Haha, I've wrecked it because I changed my styles. That's fine. That's actually fine because it means that I will have to make these pages pretty too. Are we sticking with the 3-action economy? I think so. I quite like the idea of having, again, it's the flexibility, right? It lets you really choose what you're doing with your turn in interesting ways. So I think probably, although there may be some adjustments. Chelsea. Oh, wait, what did I do? Did I just add instead of deleting? Sí, gracias. Okay, and then we're going to make these. Oh, what am I doing? Bigger. These to be hitting one because I want them to. Yep, that works. Okay. I feel like we may have to. I asked to make sure Alpha could suggest some things. Yeah, I get that, but also I'm still making some of those decisions. You know, like I've sort of gone with my gut on what is going to work best, and it is very much a mixture. And some of the things I'm just going to be like, actually, these are all stupid, and this is what I've always done in my home games, so this is what we're doing, because I roll like that. But yeah, any suggestions are good suggestions. I will just ignore the ones that I don't want to use. Okay. Dodge. Totally. Which is why I keep saying, and I know I keep saying it, but I keep saying everything can change because I may run into something at some point and go, we may get all the way to the point where we're playtesting things and we'll run into something that doesn't work and I'll be like, well, we're throwing that out. Let's try something different. I am really not precious about stuff. I want the best possible outcome. So there are a few things that I'm pretty solid on. I'm always going to choose the option that makes better story, even if it's slightly more complicated. But yeah. Yeah. The thing to fall in love with is I mean, I guess anyone who's going to end up playing this with me is probably someone who has played with me before, at least at first. And so they should already know that I'm always going to lean into rule of cool. I'm always going to lean into story. I'm always going to lean into interesting narrative choices. And so any system I build is going to do that too. But at the end of the day, all of this is just a set of tools to tell great stories, right? That's what we're doing here. That's the point of the exercise. Okay, so I'm going to need a little more space here so that I can actually read these. So again, although I'm using a lot of Pathfinder as my, why is it not? Bro, what are you doing? Fine, we'll do it that way. Oh, so dumb. What is this? Veritas. Um, we. Sorry, I lost my train of thought completely because I was trying to make the windows do what I want. I just have to flip between them. No, I forgot what I was talking about. Okay, second level feats. That's where we're at. Your critical hits shake your foe's confidence. Oh, I know what I was saying. That I am, although I'm doing a lot of lifting from Pathfinder at this stage, realistically, it's probably going to veer quite far away from this in the end. It's going to be much more. This is just something to hang the initial thoughts on, really, because starting from absolutely nothing is very difficult. So as we go through it, I will probably get rid of things or change things, or I mean, it's already happening. I'm already changing the way things work. But it just, yeah, don't get too attached is probably good advice. Good advice. Okay, so I have been thinking about this a little bit, and the thing that worries me about it is that I think what we want is for stuff to kind of build on each other. Yeah, yeah. Because you can, like, I feel like no matter how much you have played these games, it's very easy to forget about stuff when you're trying to put something together. So having a base in something like Pathfinder, which is quite convoluted, and it does have a lot of that nuance, helps. Oh, now you're letting me read it. Right. Okay. Cool. Gertrude's peeking out from behind there. So yeah. Anyway, that's where I'm at. Okay. Critical hits make people scared. It doesn't feel roguey to me. I'm not gonna lie. I know that ruffian is one of the options, and I suppose there's a logic to you have to have the you've got to have the muscle. But this brutal beating thing feels like a barbarian thing. It doesn't feel like a rogue thing to me. But maybe we'll shove it in for now. The ruffian does seem to be very based in intimidation, and all right, I'll give you that. We'll do it for now, and then I may change my mind. Oh shit! God damn it! When you yeah. And it makes sense that if you're bringing muscle, if they punch someone, that person is then scared, I guess. But I still feel like it assumes rogue in a situation where really you would be a barbarian or a fighter. That makes more sense, but maybe. I'm more and more leaning towards having a lot of general feats, yeah. Especially for things that are, yeah, you make a good point actually. For things that can apply across multiple classes. Because there is a certain logic to your class feats being very specific to that like specialist knowledge. And you probably find that there will be feats like this that are almost the exact same thing in those other classes as well. So why replicate when you could just make it a... Making me think now. We had this general... Like maybe that's exactly it. It's you know, certain kinds of things become generalized. I'm going to leave it there for now. But yes, I think you may be right. I think you may be right. That maybe instead of having them, like we stick to the actual roguish things, and anything that can be used by multiple things ends up in a general list. Because realistically, you're going to have skill points that you can spend, and you can spend them wherever you want. So if you're the kind of player who likes to really specialize and go down a particular road, you can do that. Or if you're the kind of player like me who likes to have a really wide set of skills, you can do that. It allows for both of those ways of moving through the world. Clever Gambit. Your strike critically hits and deals damage to a creature you've identified with recall knowledge. Your battle tactics are aided by assessing your foe's capabilities and range. That seems a bit meh. That's all good. Thank you for hanging. I'm only going to be here for another 20 minutes or so, so happy meeting. I hope it is not annoying. That is the best I can offer for meetings. Okay, so we do have a bunch of faint things somewhere already, I think. Scoundrel has feints. Feints are more distracting than normal. While a creature is off guard by a feint, it also takes a -2 circumstance to gain. So many of these are like the sorts of things where I want the player to go, hey, can I attempt to distract this person by doing this thing, and then I can go make this check, and then the baddie makes the check, and then we do the thing. Like, I feel like these are specific in a way that it's unnecessary to have, which is how I feel about a lot of the Pathfinder feats, is that they're very, I'm like, you could just roleplay that. You don't need a feat for it. Yeah, it feels like a lot of stuff that in my games is just RP has been put into these boxes, probably for people who don't love to RP at the table, like for people who aren't into that. And that's cool. Like, if that's your gameplay style, then great. It's not mine. So things like that, I'm probably just gonna not. In fact, I even feel like this is a little bit... I don't love the brutal beating. I keep coming back to it and going, nah, I'm gonna take it out. I don't love it. I don't love it. Okay. So no, we don't like that either. We don't like that either. Mobility. You move without leaving an opening. When you stride or move half your speed or less, that movement does not trigger reactions. You can use mobility when climbing, flying, or swimming. So that's just this thing. We've already got that somewhere here. Disengage, essentially. It's the same thing. Pretty much. So we don't need that. Alright, quick draw. You draw your weapon and attack with the same motion. Okay, now this makes sense to me. Although, maybe that belongs in the weaponry one. Oh, see, this is so freaking... Okay. Okay. I am going to actually take a step back, because I think we're going about this wrong. I think that maybe the way to do it is to set up the beginning of all the skill trees and then look at the feats, figure out which ones we want to use, and then figure out where to put them in a way that makes sense. So I think we need to spend some time on structure before we get too in the weeds with the actual feats. Because I feel like this is going to keep happening where we hit something and I'm like, well, that's nice, but it actually doesn't belong here. So I think we're going to do that a little bit. So we've done the basic character one, which looks much nicer now. Look how pretty it is. So much prettier. And then this is going to be if I make this. I know we've done a lot of formatting today. Please forgive me. Hopefully it's not completely. Oh, that's not what I want. Boring to watch, but I feel like I need to get my head around that so that I can get a real sense of what the structure looks like, and I feel like once we've got the structure sussed, it'll be a lot easier to put things into it. But sometimes you've got to go down the road a little bit before you get to the point where you go, we need to pause and actually do some work on structural. Oh man, bruh. I don't even remember how I did that thing where I set the background like that. I think I literally just colored in all the cells. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. So I may as well just do that here, and that way it's the same everywhere. Which one was it? That one? Just under the white. Weird. Is it different? That one? Hang on. Helps if you actually select it, Jax. Wow. I'm being so dumb. This one. And then lines are all the next one down. That's how I did it. Although now I've made all these lovely little blocks, I don't really want to. Maybe we'll just do this. I feel like I'm going to regret that later, but that's okay. Weird that it doesn't maintain the grid lines when you do that, but that's okay. All right, we'll deal with that later. Okay, so basically these are going to all be styles. That's what I'm looking for. Heading 2. Sorry, I'm thinking. I realize that it's I'm quiet when I'm thinking. Okay, we're gonna go. Right. Sorry. Let's just do a thing here. We are going to remove all the merges. Why didn't you do what I wanted you to do? Oh, you did. You just didn't. To do. Width is 5. Cancel. We are going to all of the columns 5 again. That we can. That. just delete a bunch of them there, and then hopefully you will let me insert one here. Oh my god, seriously? Fine, we will do it this way. Boop. Nope. Boop. Okay, so to those guys. Copy this and go paste, con, dex. I've also done them in the wrong order, which is stupid, but like not the same order as I've done them here. They should be in the same order. So dex, strength, con, dex, strength, con, instinct, charisma. Cool. Going to cross a bit. Okay. Okay. So the idea is that these are basically things you can take at any time in a way that makes sense for your character. This is always, I know I keep repeating these words, but it's important because the sense to your character thing is really, really fundamental to so much of what I am trying to do here. Just because everything relies on it making narrative sense. Like that is so important to everything that I'm doing here. Yeah, it's a whole. It's the whole point of so much of it. Okay, and then we're going to go perception and Y. Perception and investigation. Not saves. It's literally just an increase in those things. Same situation. Right. Okay. So we're actually going to just take these out for now because we're working with structure right now. That's what we're working on. That's what we're working on. Okay, and then so those can be done pretty much at any time, but they are reliant on having the points to spend. so you can use them. And the reason I did this is because when I was doing the when I started building the character, like the leveling processes, the thing I discovered was that so much of them, it's the same things over and over again. So every class has a moment where that class becomes better at perception. Every class has a moment when they are, you know, gaining better dexterity or whatever. Like, it seems to be a very yeah, like, it's universal. So make it universal, right? Like, make it a thing that people can just add in when they're ready to add it in. That's kind of my feeling on that. Okay, so that's table 1 essentially. Okay, and then we're gonna have going to be weaponry. And then there will be one for armory as well. And I'm leaving this on purpose because it is going to, I'm leaving myself space to work. So basically weaponry is going to be anything to do with weapons, armory will be anything to do with armor, and then there will be, actually, I might do this underneath the weaponry. We'll just dump it here for now. Some not buffs. And then we will do okay. So what I'm getting at here is, again, it's going to get so big, but it's fine. We're trying to build a just a way of keeping track of what we want to be where, essentially. That makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. So it will look something like this eventually, is the general idea. So it's going to just keep going. Oh, that's why. I didn't like that one. Okay, unmerge that guy. There we go. Okay. It's tidying up because, oh, that's fine. Makes it easier to think. It's easier to think if it's tidy. Welcome to the Jack's Brain. Okay. So okay, it's almost 6:30, so I'm going to have to stop. But the idea is something like this, and then we will do a similar thing to these guys as well. And the same with the class things. So any skill or feat that could be generalized will go here, and then the ones that are in the class and ancestry trees will be specific to those. The reason being that I really feel like a lot of it is either this is made for people who don't actually want to RP, and again, there's nothing wrong with not wanting to RP. If like I get that it's not for everyone, but the kind of game I play, I'm never going to use those things. It's never going to be a I am going to ask this person for information, and I'm going to use this thing I have that will make him tell me. I'm going to be like, yeah, cool. What are you saying? Like, it's just that's how it's going to be. Because yeah, I'm an RP girl, and yeah, that's just how it is. Sorry. So, cool. I might stop there. I may, if I get a BM up on it later, go through these and just format everything so you don't have to watch me format next time. And we can just we can just start actually putting things in to these tables and figuring out what's going where. It is a lot, but potentially coming at it from a more big picture sense is going to make it a little bit easier to manage. Oh yeah, I started working on magic stuff and then we stopped. But that's all good. Because then we can build in binary things for all of these where people can, where potentially you go yes, no, and then that should update this. That's the plan. That's where we're heading. Obviously, I've done nothing in terms of formulas yet, but that's okay. And on that note, having watched me do Excel formatting for an hour and a half, I hope it was slightly interesting. Seeing my brain wheels turn. Yeah, I'll be back doing this again next Thursday. I do this Tuesday and Thursday mornings. Tuesday mornings we do world building things, so it's all lore and story stuff, and then Thursday mornings I'm building this stuff. It is definitely helping me get it done because it makes me do it for an hour and a half a week, which is good for my brain. And yeah, thank you for being my body doubles, I guess, while I work through these things. And I will catch you next time. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, have a beautiful time zone. I love you.